I love traveling, and whenever I travel, I pick my destinations based on the food that I want to try. I'm always up for an adventure, and my most recent trip was a visit to Milan, Italy, in the Lombardia region. The world comes to see this beautiful city. There's the main piazza with the cathedral, La Scala, the famous opera theater. Of course, there's the Galleria, and in between all these great sights, well, delicious tastes of Italy. One of my favorite stops to make, this is gonna sound crazy, was at the train station. It's this food hall called Mercato Centrale. It's full of kiosks that has all sorts of tastes from all over Italy. And I stopped at a pasticceria that is known in Milan for its panettone. But it was actually another pastry that impressed me. The Maritozzi were particularly beautiful. And these little soft, delicate brioche were filled with strawberry cream. That's the one I had to taste. Not only was it a strawberry cream, the loco fragole di bosco, the small, tiny wild strawberries were in season. And you know, those little berries are just packed with flavor. The Maritozzo, that one cream bun I had that I enjoyed so much, made such an impression on me that I brought home that food memory and I wanted to recreate something similar, but add my own twist to it. Of course, I'm working with my own ingredients. So I am creating my own Maritozzi, but with a strawberry ice cream filling. Because let me tell you, the gelato all around Italy, well, there is nothing better. So I want to put the two together. The first thing I need to do for this recipe is make the brioche, and then I'm going to make a beautiful, fresh strawberry ice cream to put inside. Let's start with the brioche. The first thing I need to do is grab my milk that I've warmed up just slightly, just above body temperature. Now I'm going to add my instant yeast to my milk, and even though instant yeast doesn't technically need to be dissolved, I find that because this is a rich brioche dough, with the eggs and the oil and the honey, yeast can sometimes have a little trouble dissolving. So I stir it into the milk first, just for a second, and now I'm going to add it to my flour that is already in my bowl. Now I can add my sugar because this brioche bun is on the sweeter side. It's meant to be served as part of a dessert. A little bit of salt. Now I'll add my oil. The reason I'm using oil instead of butter in this recipe is because it's going to make a softer, more pliable bun. Also, if you want to pre-assemble your Maritozzi and freeze them, your brioche won't set as firmly as if it were made with butter. I've got 2 tablespoons of honey. Now for the eggs, I use 1 whole egg and 1 egg yolk. These brioche buns have their own sweet flavor to them. And then let's just heighten that flavor with a little lemon zest. And also a splash of vanilla. All right, now I'll mix this on low speed until it comes together, but don't be surprised when the dough seems kind of sticky. It's meant to be sticky because of that sugar and the honey, but it will absorb the liquid as it sits. Now that the dough is mixed, I'll transfer it to a bowl, and this needs to proof on the counter, covered for about 90 minutes. And it'll not quite double in size, it'll rise up about 50%. While the brioche dough rises, I can work on the strawberry ice cream. And I wanted to make a fresh style of ice cream that almost has a gelato vibe to it. So instead of a cooked custard, this is a fresh cream ice cream. Oh, let's talk about these strawberries for a second. I've got beautiful, ripe, farm gate fresh strawberries, and I was so impressed by the fragole di bosco in Milan that you could find them in the markets. Now they were rare. They're obviously something treasured, which is why they were showcased in those Maritozzi pastries I saw in the pasticceria. The flavor was so intense. So when you want to make an ice cream like this, a strawberry or any fresh fruit ice cream, you want to use fruit as it's ripest. If you can, the day it's picked. I've already cut my strawberries in half, and now I'm just going to use a potato masher as I add a couple tablespoons of sugar. And I want to squish the strawberries, let them macerate. The sugar will pull out the liquid, the color, the flavor. I don't want large pieces of strawberry in the ice cream because those will freeze up firmly. All right, now that that's mashed, let's make the ice cream base, which is amazingly simple. A traditional vanilla ice cream is often made by heating cream, whisking in egg yolks, cooking a nice custard, and then you have to let it cool. But I don't know about you. When I crave ice cream, I want ice cream now. So I skip that cooking step and I simply measure milk, cream, and then I stir in my sugar. And my secret ingredient to a really smooth, dense, velvety texture to my ice cream is adding a couple tablespoons of instant skim milk powder. Now I'll add a pinch of cinnamon and some vanilla extract. And I just give this a whisk. And you want to whisk this once or twice every now and again to let that sugar dissolve. Because remember, your milk and cream is cold. And this is why this ice cream recipe, it has cream in it, so it's technically an ice cream, is similar to a gelato, which is often fresh and has simple flavors. Now, you can make your strawberry base and your ice cream mix ahead of time and chill it until you're ready to churn your ice cream. Throughout my travels of Milan and other parts of Italy, I can't tell you how many times we would stop to have a cup of gelato. I just absolutely love it. It's simple but complex at the same time. It takes 3 minutes to eat, and I love that it's just a part of everyday life, making a stop at a gelateria. And I appreciate the art of making it. I've got a compressor-based ice cream machine, which will spin this ice cream in about 20 minutes. Of course, you want to follow your own ice cream maker's instructions. For this particular recipe, I freeze my ice cream base first until it's half frozen, then I add my strawberries. That way, I keep the small pieces intact, but the color and the flavor gets evenly worked through. I'll add my strawberries at the 10-minute mark. It's hypnotizing to watch it churn. Oh, I just love that. Now, of course, I'm making strawberry ice cream because I so connected with the fragole di bosco that I had in Italy, but you could easily make your own favorite flavor here. It could be chocolate, it could be pistachio or hazelnut, or other fruits too that are in season. Once you've got your ice cream, you need to scoop it into a container and freeze it until it's firm. That way, it's easy to scoop into those Maritozzi brioche buns. Speaking of which, it's time to divide and roll them. Here's the dough after it's rested for 90 minutes, and you can see it's risen up. And as I turn it out onto my work surface, it is easier to handle. I'm using a dough scraper or bench scraper to divide it into 12 equal pieces. And now the key to get that perfectly round shape is to roll each piece of dough under the palm of your hand, a little bit loosely. Don't use your fingertips. And then as you're spinning it, use the side of your hand to kind of coax the bun down to create almost a taut surface on the top. This means your brioche will hold its shape. The original Roman Maritozzi were made to enjoy during Lent on Fridays, and were meant as a gift from a husband to a wife or a boyfriend to a girlfriend. Sometimes they had dried fruits in it or other flavors. This particular Maritozzi I'm keeping simple with the vanilla and the lemon, so it could go with just about any ice cream flavor. Oh, and I should mention, the traditional Maritozzi simply have a cream filling, but I like that I'm stepping it up with ice cream. And here we go. You want to place your rolled buns on a baking tray, and you want to leave a good amount of space between them, a few inches, because over the next 30 minutes, they will rise up. I'll give this a cover with a tea towel and set them aside. And here they are, risen after 30 minutes, and it's time for them to go in the oven. I've preheated the oven to 350, but first I'll give them a brush with an egg wash so they're nice and shiny. And now I'll pop them into the oven. Here are the brioche buns out of the oven and cooled, and look at that beautiful round shape. They really do look similar to the ones that I had at Mercato Centrale. I'm so happy. If you're preparing these for a party, you can assemble them ahead of time. Split them, fill them, and put them back in the freezer. Just pull them out about 10 minutes before you want to serve them. And to assemble is easy. Unlike a hamburger bun that you slice across, these you actually slice top down, and then I'll give them a little dusting with icing sugar. Here's my ice cream, now that it's had a chance to set up. And when you're scooping ice cream, to get a nice clean scoop, a lot of people think you have to dip your scoop in hot water. Here's a tip. Actually use room temperature water. If you use hot water, it will freeze and crystallize, and your ice cream will actually stick in the scoop more than it would without. There we go. Oh, doesn't that look so good? And actually, throughout Italy, you can get soft buns or brioche buns filled with gelato and eat them like this. So I'm really kind of taking what I learned from Milan that celebrates all of Italian cuisine and putting it right in this ice cream version of Maritozzi. Oh, look at that. The color, the texture, and I love that you have this soft bun that matches the soft texture of the ice cream. What a beautiful filling. It's kind of fun, it can get a little messy to eat, but who cares? Something this delicious? Oh, if you're standing outside in the street in the piazza in Milan, you would lean over and eat it. So I'm glad I can enjoy the same right here at home. Yeah, there's no being tidy about this. You just have to get in there. Oh. Poof! That burst of strawberry flavor is amazing. Oh, it takes me right back to having that cream filling with the fragoli di bosco, those small strawberries. It's creamy. You've got this soft, delicate texture of the brioche bun. You know, I love a good pastry, and so a bread like this that's properly made, it's tender, it's delicate. I get the hints of vanilla and lemon. It just matches with the ice cream. Hang on. Oh, so delicious. This dessert really does bring me back to those special moments I had in Milan, and I can't wait until my next food travel adventure. But in the meantime, I hope you want to experience my taste of Milan.